In this video, we are reacting to TikToker turns plastic into fuel, then goes missing. I heard about this guy, man. I heard about him. I seen him on, I forgot where I saw him, but I heard about him. I seen him. I was like, damn, it's crazy. He's really doing this. He's really doing this. I looked into it, and what he's doing is called like paralysis or whatever, like that. People have tried it in the past, but there's probably a way to go around it. I don't know too much, so let's get into the video.
She been comment me.
This influencer allegedly got hacked and went missing, all because apparently he invented something that could save the planet. But the mother of his child says this is not true, and this is all strategy just to go viral. So it's safe to say
18,
we have quite
16.
the interesting story here today. This is Julian Brown. He claims to be the inventor of a homemade microwave-powered pyrolysis reactor. So if you're like me and you have no clue what that is, to put it simply, that would be like turning everyday plastic waste into usable fuels that could power, for example, cars.
Here, I have plastodiesel, a diesel alternative I made from plastic waste. And we're going to put my plastodiesel inside of the first ever F-250 to run off.
I think this right here was like a little event he held. Like, he's been doing it for like a year or maybe longer than that. But like for the past year, he's been blowing up, getting some buzz. And then he put up like, hey, if y'all think I'm lying, I'm pulling up to this place right here and I'm finna pour it in a car and see what goes wrong or if it works. And I think that's what this video is, because I kind of follow.
For plastic waste in Chicago, baby. Yeah. Shot myself. I got it. All right, plastodiesel was inside of the pail, and we're gonna hook up the fuel hose to it. The first ever formed F-250 to run off of plastic waste right here in Chicago, Illinois, baby.
If we take a second here to look at the bigger picture, a man inventing something that could potentially solve a global crisis, a lot of people would say that could put him in the category of people who would disrupt one of the largest industries in the world, and thus he could be a target. And this is what has been theorized all over the internet. Recently, this theory has come to fruition because for a short period of time, he went completely silent and the entire internet went crazy with speculations of his disappearance. But before we go any further, we need to understand who he is, why he's doing this, and where it all began. Known online as Nature Jab.
Ooh. If I had money, I would pay for premium.
Julian Brown is a self-taught inventor who began developing his plastic-to-fuel technology while still in high school and holds certifications in various types of welding. On social media, he's built a following of about 2 million people by sharing his own personal developments and various science experiments. He saw a real surge in popularity around the time TikTok and short-form content became super popular, seeing a major surge in popularity just last year in 2024 when he posted this TikTok video showcasing his experiment that converted plastic into fuel.
So I've created my own gas station that makes fuel from plastic waste. Let's go.
So this is really cool. And how
you wake up every day and you're like how does one come to this like what am I trying to say?
What?
Like how does one wake up and is like, I'm gonna try and make gas? Like, where do you start? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Where do you start? Melting plastic? No, I guess it starts in the classroom. So dumbasses, don't try this. Don't try this. It starts in the classroom. You gotta see what chemicals mix and what chemicals do not mix, and you can't fuck around. You cannot be wrong. You can die.
this machine work? Well, plastoline, as Nature Jab calls it, is made from loading plastic scraps into a sealed container. Then it's heated with microwaves without any oxygen. This process is called pyrolysis. It breaks down the plastic into this greasy, oily substance. He then distills it using a vacuum setup into a crude fuel mixture he calls plastoline, along with solid carbon residue. I am definitely not a scientist, and I may just have completely butchered that, but what does that mean for us? Well, fossil fuels are scarce, which powers our cars, planes, and farming equipment. Turning plastic waste into fuel through Julian's methods offers a way to reclaim energy from trash, reducing plastic.
Isn't it possible to power vehicles and anything in that nature with fart?
What?
Right? it's just hard to get enough, right? Because farts ignite with flame. Open fart and open flame create kaboosh. So I think it's just hard to get that much fart inside the thing, but fart can get your shit going.
Pollution while generating usable diesel and gasoline. These are the claims. Again, I am not a scientist here, and I'm sure there's plenty of debate around all this. But no matter how you look at it, we have a massive plastic problem. We have so much plastic in nature that at this point we can never clean it all up. So if we somehow find a very profitable solution to turn that plastic waste into fuel, that could be very interesting. But if this is the correct solution for that, that's still to be determined. Because it's definitely worth noting that this process requires energy, a ton of money, and it's definitely not a safe or easy process. And obviously you can debate about, you know, all the plastic vapors going into the ozone layer as well. So Julian, he's already showed this because at one point during a vacuum distillation run, Julian Brown's equipment exploded.
I'm being cooked alive.
Yeah, this covered his legs and feet with second-degree burns. According to Reddit accounts, he ran the machine at extremely positive pressures and removed a clamp during the process, resulting in a dangerous release of flaming gas. One Redditor said he forgot to vacuum the vacuum distiller and exploded flaming gas and gave him second-degree burns.
Peep his name, Cold Technician. He must be cold at it to be giving that advice online. Because if a nigga blow up, nigga, that's your insurance. Yup. That's crazy. That's what I was saying. Where do you start? You better know what you're doing. That wasn't even a chemical. It was just a vacuum or a clamp or whatever.
All over his legs and ankles. But that didn't stop him in the slightest, because just a year later, in a follow-up post, he had this to say.
I know it's like kind of crazy, but I wouldn't have had it any other way because I learned and I wear my safety equipment, my boots, my fireproof overalls every time now. Heck, sometimes I even wear a helmet, make sure nothing hits my face. And if I hadn't learned that way, I could have been in a far worse accident. But there's so many ways I could easily destroy myself, turning plastic into fuel at a DIY homemade scale. But also, even if it was a worse injury, I'd be right back at it, guys, because I told you guys I'm here, I'm on a mission, I'm gonna get things done.
So alongside of this machine just nearly blowing your own legs off, critics have raised some serious concerns about its environmental impact and scientific validity. Because while the idea of turning plastic...
I'm gonna get things done.
I can't spell. I can't spell. Okay, no, not the villain. That's crazy. He kind of looked like this dude, the Inventor dude. That's kind of canon, right? Did I cook? Come on. I gotta cook. Come on, I gotta cook. I don't know what I'm talking about, man. I'm good with this. That's a gift. It was a gift from above.
Because I told you guys I'm
just nearly scientific validity. Because while the idea of turning plastic waste into usable fuel may sound promising, experts warn that the process can release toxic byproducts, including benzene, toluene, and dioxins, which are harmful for both human health and the environment. Because besides being potentially very toxic, many experts say that the process isn't truly sustainable. Reports from groups like ProPublica show that turning plastic into fuel through pyrolysis can actually release more greenhouse gases than making new plastic. Some companies use this method to make their practices seem eco-friendly, even though it really doesn't reduce fossil fuel use. Critics also point out that it's just a small amount of plastic is turned into usable fuel. Most of it gets burned, so it doesn't really do too much to help the environment or support real recycling. But Nature Jab, he claims that this is not the case because he uses microwaves instead of traditional methods for pyrolysis, stating in his FAQ section on his website, "This process is thoroughly controlled. Every product is useful and captured. There are no emissions and there are no pollution. and this process is 100%
Can he prove that,
carbon
though?
neutral.
You gotta
That's a very
prove that,
interesting
brother.
claim. Alongside of posting this video showcasing how clean he claims his fuel really is. So after going extremely viral for at least a year, comments started popping up about how he should be hiding and suggesting the government could be after him. He even posted this video of a helicopter circling above him.
Look, spotlight right at me. I don't know what's going on. This is the third time this helicopter's been here. Look, it is. Spotlight.
His buddy Cook.
Around me. It's so loud though. Like I can't even go to sleep.
And yes, a few days later on July 9th, Julian posted this video explaining that he was under attack.
All right, listen, everybody. I can't go into too much detail, but there is some very, very odd stuff going on. I'm certainly under attack right now from in many different ways, and I just want everybody to know to just kind of have your...
Okay, my thing with this guy, you gotta explain yourself a little bit more. You got to, because no one's gonna take you serious when you say, "I'm being attacked." Okay, from all sides, because you didn't say pause. No, I'm just playing. It's because you're just saying from all sides. You low-key gotta say, like, and that's the problem with us people. We'll be like, he probably lying. He could be telling the truth. But like, me personally, I want to give as much info or as much certainty so that you can't say, but why didn't he say something else other than something so generic? Basically, stop speaking in general. That's what I feel like. Being under attack. Say what's been going on, say what's been happening, so that we will have nothing to do but believe you.
Your eyes open.
And then he just went completely silent until a few days later when he seemingly leaked his own driver's license on Instagram. So obviously people got pretty worried. The internet started scraping his old videos, looking for landmarks, terrain, and shadows to find his GPS location. They searched public records and attempted to directly contact his family. Eventually, someone claiming to be Julian's mother contacted the Daily Mail and said this: "I can confirm Julian is safe, but in the best interest of his security, I'm not able to provide any more information." And on August 1st, after being missing for nearly 2 weeks, Julian finally posted a video.
Hey, somebody tell those hackers, "He vuelto, perras." I'm back. And don't ever think I'm gonna go down without a fight. I'm still working. I'm still building, no matter what.
Did you kill him? Or what happened? This is genuine questions, though. You disappeared for 2 weeks. Someone's doing things. You're panicking, leaving and stuff. What happened? Did you kill them? Because why would they just leave you alone all of a sudden? Am I wrong? Am I tripping?
And thank all of you. I am
Just
so
some of my
humbled to have
nose.
the whole world's support. And I want to let you guys know that when some force is fighting me, you're not just fighting an individual, you are fighting the whole world, and you are fighting the
Bro,
source.
there been
Because
some-
this is not mine. This was
Bro,
bestowed
been
upon
some
me
on
by the
those
Most
this
High.
whole time?
And I am just a vessel for the collective consciousness, so no amount of nefariousness can triumph somebody who walks in righteousness and faith.
So I assume what he
man.
means by
Give me a
hackers is
poo.
the driver's license being posted on his Instagram account. He doesn't really talk too much about his disappearance though until this video with his mother, in which she explains the situation entirely.
First of all, Julian was never missing. He was not in some institution or so many of the other things that we have heard.
Why'd
But
you
here
lie?
is the truth. Julian has received threats, cryptic threats. He has received hacking.
Yeah.
In ways that have just been incredibly insane. People who are obsessed with him, who hate him, who ultimately want to distract him from his purpose and his mission and to destroy
His mom, real professional. Real professional.
him. But I tell you what, when we consulted his cybersecurity team, they all gave him the same advice. Stand down, lay low,
She
and do
could
not
get her
post
roots
anything
redone. It's a
to any
little
platform.
loose.
So she explains that he's been receiving threats, been a victim of hacking and was advised to lay low and be off of social media for a period of time. This all seems fair and understandable, but something here just isn't really sitting right with me. Considering I've covered over 1,000 internet situations here at this point, I feel like I have a decent gut feeling when something's off, but I also can't sit here and believe this is some like government related thing, because as Julian himself stated in a video last year, he's not actually in danger because his machine that he invented isn't actually anything new.
Yeah, I said that.
No, I'm not at any type of risk of the government or any body or organization for turning plastic waste into fuel. The process of pyrolysis is not something I invented. Turning plastic waste into fuel, or waste in general into fuel, has been around forever, and there are already companies that do it, universities that do it everywhere. So it's no threat to the government. There is a threat, and the threat is when you change the mindset and the paradigm of the system. And the truth is, we've been conditioned that in order to do things, you need to have government backing, certification degree backing, labs, all that stuff. And I'm doing it in my backyard with none of that, at a very young age, and that does shift and change the mindset and the paradigm of what we've been told. And that right there can put you at risk.
Meaning, I guess the impressive part of his entire career isn't the fact that he's turning plastic into fuel, it's the fact that he's such a young person doing all of this without any permission or help from the government, or just any other sponsors. But an even crazier twist of the story comes from a Twitter insinuating that Julian's baby mother called him out for being a deadbeat, and that was the actual reason for his disappearance. So that's definitely a 180 to the story, but there was no reason to jump to this conclusion other than the fact that she was tagged in these mysterious posts by hackers.
That just hit me.
A post showing Julian's driver's license, her name tagged, and alongside of this, there was also stories posted on her account that also insinuated that she was hacked, showing cryptic messages and the location of Julian's machine. So we decided to do a little bit more digging and had a look through her Instagram stories, and we found a post that alludes to the fact that everything is not what it seems. She stated that she was asked not to speak on the situation, but this is her story too, apparently. And then she said, "I will be speaking more when I'm ready, but for now, please know that everything is not what it seems." Then, in a post shortly after, she goes even deeper, saying that this has been a nightmare for her and her daughter, explaining that her apartment had been posted online and that she could no longer go back there, saying that Julian is not missing and that he is choosing to stay silent, and that he told her himself. This creates suspense. Also mentioning how her and her daughter were kicked out of the home, all while Julian lets the internet spiral. And then she said this again: there's a lot the internet doesn't know, and she's exhausted by this false narrative. But I feel like the craziest quote is, he let the internet go wild and he let conspiracy theories flourish. He also let people panic and worry while keeping quiet on purpose. So I mean, if any of this...
Now fuck this nigga, man. Hey, just like how in that video he just... And I already seen it coming, because I thought it was pretty impressive what he was doing. I knew it wasn't new because all it takes is a Google search. Right when I saw it, I was like, can you do this? And then all of it came down. But he's saying, oh, I'm not the first person, but you're definitely making it seem like when you're making them videos in the backyard, you're not telling people, I'm not the first person. You're like, I am the first person. I am the youngest person to do this and do this. We will have self-driving, or we will have cars from plastic from your... He's saying things like this. He's not saying, me trying this at a young age is going to open your eyes to see what's possible, so that when you guys have kids and they have kids, they'll know the possibilities, and they're limitless. He's not saying all that. That's why I said earlier, get your bag. It's a social media thing.
Is true, that makes things a little bit more interesting. But she also posted what seems to be the same stories on Twitter and had replied to various posts on Threads. But these posts have since been deleted, only showing an archived thumbnail on Google Images with a broken link. Now, this is tricky because this is all very skeptical. No actual proof has been posted. Julian has been completely silent regarding this side of the story, and we've only had a few Instagram story posts that just keep being deleted. According to this Twitter user post, the deleted posts from her that we cannot see are her debunking the situation and explaining how all of this is BS. And that leaves us with two vague Instagram stories and what seems to be some very weird tweets that seem to reference the situation. Honestly, this whole situation is insane, and I'm definitely not in a position to come to any conclusion here, as I literally don't have a clue of what's going on. It was only a year ago that Julian openly said that his creation wasn't anything new and the government had no reason to be after him, explaining further that he was doing it to promote the idea that, hey, you can do whatever you want to do. And honestly, that's inspiring. Faking
Yeah,
a whole
if he came
conspiracy
out and
to
say that,
governments
though.
after you because you invented a new thing, not so much. But obviously, he then went viral, claimed he was under attack, had his driver's license leaked by hackers, disappeared for weeks, and his baby mama posts all these cryptic stories suggesting that he's doing all this for suspense and that none of this is what it seems. He also then finally returned with a vague explanation that doesn't actually answer any of our questions, and then
Exactly.
completely ignored all the claims from his baby mama.
What'd
And
I
this is
say?
all while her posts seem to be disappearing by the day, and he's just gone back to posting as normal, which kind of leaves me in the position where I'm not sure what to believe. Could this whole thing be a massive publicity stunt to boost
Yes.
his brand and upcoming projects? Who
I'm
knows?
telling you.
Is there something more going on behind the scenes that hasn't been released yet? Again, who knows? Or have I completely misunderstood the science and he's actually creating a real solution to our fuel crisis? Again, who knows? Well, actually, scientists know that one. But from reading this tweet, people have been doing what that dude doing for a decade plus already. There's already been people who figured out how to do this, including a literal CEO of a tech company. One of them makes and sells a machine that already does what he's trying to accomplish. So it seems like there's nothing super revolutionary here, just a young guy achieving something that would be very difficult to do without
It's a money
any
move.
external funding. So were the hackers real? Are the hackers part of something bigger? Is there something
No.
more going on behind the scenes?
Not
And his
real.
baby mama had enough and just decided to pull a stunt to ruin his career? Is she clout chasing, or is this just like a possible mental health
I don't
crisis
think she-
triggered by the overwhelming pressure of just going viral? I don't know. And unfortunately, this video is a little bit open-ended as there's tons of questions left up in the air. So, hey, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Either way, I do hope that Julian and his family are okay and are safe.
Yeah, facts. Hopefully they're okay and safe and that none of it was real. But at the end of the day, I feel like I know a nigga, right? A nigga's gonna do exactly what a nigga's gonna do. I feel like this was a ploy. Because before he even blew up like that 2 years ago, I was watching his shit. I'm telling you, I seen him. And he was not saying, oh, it's for the idea. He was not open and saying, this for the idea. This is to open your brains. This is for you guys to realize what's possible. He was sitting here saying, I'm doing something different and it's going to change the world. That's what he was saying. I don't believe any of that. And like I said, he was speaking very, very softly about the whole disappearance and all this and that. If I'm disappearing, I'm telling you guys right now, hey, so like, I'm not gonna give y'all everything, but like I dead ass looked out my window, there was a black truck, right? That black truck left. I saw it like on a Monday and a Wednesday. And I have a Ring camera. So I have a Ring and a Blink camera. So I can show y'all and put the footage right here. I already saved this on my phone. But that, you know what I mean? That's how the story's gonna go. Not, I'm being followed. I gotta disappear. I'm back. They were bothering me, but I'm back. Tomorrow you get a post. Talk about, hey, like, comment, share. Nah, that's not how it go. Hey man, that's the end of the video. Appreciate y'all for watching.